Hey guys, Will here. So we're going outdoors today. We've got an exciting adventure to take you on as we go down to Sydney, about an hour south of where we are, to go and collect a brand new car for Boosted Media. So a very exciting day, and it's kind of funny filming this video because it's exactly the same thing that we did right back at the very start of this channel. A bit of a surreal day, but let's go jump in the car now. We've got my good friend Easton here, who you'll remember from the Maserati video recently as well. He's going to drive us down. We're going to go collect the new car, and it's going to be a good day, so let's get going. Alright, so we're just coming up on the dealerships now. I'm still not going to tell you which one it is though.
Did you get a Toyota?
Might be a BMW, might be a Mazda. What else have we got here? Could be a Volvo. Nah.
You're a Volvo guy now.
Alright, in we go. Alright, so we're here at, well, you guys would have figured it out by now, BMW dealership. So actually feeling really, really anxious. I don't know why. It's like this weird kind of anticipation mixed with, you know, not being sure if I've made a good decision and all kinds of things going on. But I think it's just nervous anticipation above all. But anyway, let's go inside. Let's go see what's happening. Hopefully they got everything ready, and yeah, we can go check out the car. So anxious, man. I don't know why. I'm like, ooh. It's like an anticipation thing, but it's like, oh, it's such an expensive car. Like, I shouldn't have bought such an expensive car, but then I'm glad I did. Oh. It's crazy. It's a crazy feeling. It doesn't seem real, you know? Like, I think part of it's like, every car I've ever bought has been like a lower spec model that I've then kind of done up to kind of match the performance of the top spec. And it's the first time I've ever been able to afford like the one. Alright, ready?
Hello. Recording now.
Yep, okay. Ready, set, go. Okay, so this is a car that I've had my eye on for a number of years now. You guys that have been watching the channel for a while would remember I used to have an M235i, which I absolutely love, but secretly in the background, I always kind of wished that it was an M2. When I sold that car a little while ago to fund building this studio, I was always kind of hoping that maybe I might one day be able to come back to owning the real deal, the M2. So what we have here is an M2 competition. This is the updated model from the original M2, which has the S55 engine, same engine as we find in the F80 M3 and of course the M4. Slightly detuned in the M2, although of course that can be rectified with a pretty simple tune. And in terms of the backstory as to how we came to actually purchasing this specific one, there was only a few more cars coming into the country. This is an end of production car now. And it's always a bit of a gamble when you're buying the last edition of any car. You know, what's the next model going to be like? With all the delays at the moment as well with manufacturing, we weren't sure exactly when the new M2 would be coming out. But we think it's probably a pretty safe bet that it'll be at least a year off from now. And I knew that I really wanted to get the Long Beach blue color. That was really the only color that I was interested in. And there was literally only this one and one other one, which another Australian sim racing YouTuber actually ended up buying. We were talking a little bit about both wanting the same car, and he actually ended up snapping that one up as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can come up between the two of us with some content as well. But yeah, the last two in the country in the DCT transmission, it is a DCT rather than a manual, and we'll talk about the reasons why I chose that a little bit later on when we do some driving and testing and things like that. But yeah, it was the last two in the country. It was really the last opportunity to pick one of these up brand new. And obviously with the secondhand market being the way it is at the moment too, it just kind of made sense to get a brand new one rather than a secondhand one, not pay all that much extra for the privilege. And that is basically how this came about.
I just want to see that carbon brace.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It looks so much nicer than the new ones. Because they're all plastic.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. It needs the Venturi intakes, I think, the carbon.
So nice though.
So unfortunately we drove out of the dealership directly into a heavy rainstorm, and I ended up basically just babying the car all the way home from the dealership. Didn't really get to explore its potential at all. And we're actually filming this a couple of days later now, and I've had a bit of an opportunity to enjoy the car a little bit. I haven't come anywhere near the car's limits at all yet, and you know, that's something that obviously I'm really excited to explore a little bit later on. But we are still in the run-in period at the moment. We've got to do about 2,000 kilometers before we can really open it up. We're limited to, I think, 5,500 RPM at the moment as well. But look, just as an initial impression of this car, the first thing that you notice, and something that is immediately different from every car I've ever owned before, is just you have this constant sense that you're absolutely nowhere near the limit. Like, it's just so well planted and so, I guess, compliant around turns that, you know, it's constantly screaming at you to go faster, basically. So it's certainly not a car that you're going to sort of feel like you're pushing the limits at some, you know, at normal sort of road sensible speeds. But it is a very, very rewarding car to drive once you start to push things a little bit harder. So I'm really looking forward to doing that once we run in. But I guess the big question is, you know, why did we choose this car specifically? Why is this something that's interesting to me? Like, I've always really loved the BMWs ever since I had the M235i. I just love the look of them. I love how aggressive they look on the road. There's a lot of little things as well I like about the interior of the M2 specifically as well. I like that you've still got physical buttons for a lot of the controls. You know, you don't have to go through 100 menus to get to things that you want to adjust quickly, which can be a problem in a lot of modern cars. And I love that it's just, you know, it's a bare bones kind of interior. It's nice and plain, but it still has that class about it. It still gives you, you know, the impression that you're in something pretty special, which is something that, you know, obviously you want to have when you're spending this kind of money on a car. So, look, in terms of what we're planning on doing with the car, I haven't really got my head around exactly what the plan's going to be yet. Obviously, we do want to ultimately do some track days and things like that. You know, it is a very expensive car, and one of the things that I've talked about previously is my anxiety and how I do stress out about, you know, the risk of taking an expensive car on the track and something going wrong. So that's something that I'm going to have to sort of push myself to overcome. But we'll definitely do some skid pan days, things like that as well. And look, just basically just take you guys along for the journey of enjoying and appreciating this car, because obviously this is something that, you know, we wouldn't have been able to do without the support that we get from you guys. And so I want to share the experience with you guys. Obviously, it's something that's extremely exciting for me, and something that I hope is exciting for you guys too. So we'll take you along for the journey. Obviously, we'll be doing some mods along the way as well. We've got a few electronic things that we'll be doing straight away, like installing dash cams. We'll look at doing some tuning a little bit later on as well. We might add some performance bits and pieces there too. Obviously, the car doesn't need a whole lot out of the box, so it's not going to be one of these massive project cars like what we've done before, where we're, you know, completely changing things and putting different suspension into things like that, at least not to begin with. But look, we'll see where it ultimately ends up. We'll take you guys along for the journey. And let us know in the comments as well what you guys would like to see. Is there something in particular that you've been wondering about with these cars, something that you particularly like to see? You know, we can do engine bay tours, we can show you, you know, exhaust sounds, all that kind of thing. Really, the sky's the limit. So let us know what you'd like to see. But yeah, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this little video. It's the first thing we've done like this for quite some time. It's something that I'm really excited to share with you guys again, as I said before. So thanks very much for watching, and we will see you again soon. Bye.